Welcome back to the Research Your Rights video series. This video will cover the basics of the U.S. court system and what it means to have a case on appeal. In the United States, there are lower courts and higher courts. The higher courts can review the decisions made by the lower courts. For most cases in Utah, the lowest court is called the District Court. The middle court is called the Utah Court of Appeals. The highest court is called the Utah Supreme Court. Since lawsuits usually start in lower courts, the district court will likely decide who wins your case. Most of the time, the party who loses in a lower court can ask a higher court to review the decision. This process is called an appeal. An appeal doesn't involve a new trial with new witnesses or evidence. Instead, the higher court looks over the evidence and transcript from the original trial and decides whether the lower court made the right decision. There are different rules for regular cases and appeals. One major part of appealing a case is filing appellate briefs. These are documents explaining what the lower court did wrong and why you are filing the appeal. The other party will explain why the lower court was right and why their decision should stay. The Utah Rules of Appellate Procedure govern appeals in the state and provide deadlines for filing documents and instructions on how to fill those documents out. You can find those rules online. Instead of filing an appeal, the parties also have a chance to mediate. In Utah, this is done through the Appellate Mediation Office. Okay, so once you're in the appellate court, what happens? Is that the end? Well, not always. When the appellate court or the Utah Court of Appeals makes a decision, the losing party can then appeal to the Utah Supreme Court. To appeal to the Utah Supreme Court, the losing party files a document called a petition for a writ of certiorari. Here's the catch. The Utah Supreme Court doesn't actually have to take the appeal. They pick and choose which appeals they hear. If they decide not to hear your appeal, the petition is denied. On the other hand, if they do take your appeal, the petition is granted. This means the Utah Supreme Court will decide whether the Court of Appeals reached the right conclusion or not. Whether you're in the Utah Court of Appeals or the Utah Supreme Court, you can expect one of three possible outcomes. First, the court can affirm the lower court's decision. This means the appellate court agrees with the lower court's decision. If the court affirms, the result stays the same. Second, the court can reverse the lower court's decision. This means the appellate court disagrees with the lower court's decision. If this happens, the appellate court might send the case back to the lower court with specific instructions about how to decide the case correctly. Third, if there are multiple issues in the case, the appellate court can affirm in part and reverse in part. This means the appellate court agrees with some of the parts of the lower court's decision, but disagrees with other parts. If the court affirms in part and reverses in part, the court will send the issues it disagreed with back to the lower court. Great. So now we've learned there are multiple levels of courts and what it means to appeal. There are two courts to appeal to in Utah, the Utah Appellate Court and the Utah Supreme Court. When a case is up on appeal, the judge can decide to affirm, reverse, or some combination of both. Congratulations on completing another Research Your Rights video. Check out our other videos for other parts of the legal process.